Welcome back to Urban Regenerative Gardening. I'll show you how to garden without buying fertilizers, pesticides, how to seed save, and just how to keep our health optimal through staying close to nature the way God intended it, and try to avoid some of the problems we're having today with like the modern lifestyle and such. Today I'm making some sauerkraut and got like a small to medium sized head, a couple small to medium sized heads here. Pretty small actually, but I think I got enough to make one jar. These are the jars I like to use. It's like a little fermenting system here where you got the lid that lets the gases out, and the spring hold things down below the brine that makes, let's see. I just forgot this little head here I had. This one I picked first, so I better make sure I use that one. These two I just picked the other day here, so probably do them. Them two might make it dry. I might need some of this one too. We'll see. But so the steps you have to do when you're making sauerkraut is first, everything needs to be clean. Your hands need to be clean. Make sure these are clean. Your cabbage is clean. Make sure your knife is clean. Make sure the container you're using is clean. Make sure these jars are clean. The jars I like to I have a dishwasher and I'll put it on like sanitize and that's how I make sure this stuff is clean. So, okay, I can get started now. Start with this little guy here. I'll put pretty sure, yeah, you can see there, a little shelf up there. That works out nice. When I cut these guys up, I like to be on the lookout when I'm cutting. Keep a real good eye out for bugs and stuff when you're cutting them open. Especially when you're doing regenerative gardening, you're not using pesticides and stuff, so you gotta keep an eye out for the bugs. But as you're cutting them up, you'll see any kind of. I literally, since I'm in my 50s, I'll put I'll put a pair of readers on when I'm doing it. Alright, so magic of the pause button. I got my readers and made a cup of coffee. So, alright. Back to work. Alright, so you just corner these little, gotta get the cores out of there. One more. See, I didn't quite get all that core out of it. There we go. Okay, got it. Alright. Took a couple tries to get that core out here. Got it though. Okay, so another thing, you just want to keep an eye out for any parts of say there it looks, I don't know if that's coming out on camera, but that's a little bit funny looking there. So I just look around for anything that doesn't look quite right. And then it's up to you how small you want to make them. I like making them for sauerkraut. Like if I'm cutting them up for steam, just to steam some to eat, I make them big. But for sauerkraut, I like them to be small pieces. So Gotta take a little extra time there to make sure it's cut up really small. Oh, there's something there. I don't know what that is. Get that out of there. You gotta have a keen eye. But that's how I do it. Keep a bird's eye out for anything that you don't want in here. But you also have to remember, you know, depending on what you believe, there are 250,000 years we've been around, and the last few years since we've been living this sanitary life, that's when our health has been going downhill. Also read the other day in a book called what's the name of it? Metabolical. There's another funny piece. The 3 countries in the world that have the cheapest food are the 3 countries in the world that's the sickest. So a lot of that ultra processed foods that we eat, and many other things about the modern life, it's causing the sicknesses. There we go. Sauerkraut. I just make the sauerkraut as I get the cabbage to come on. Like I just made this summer. I made 3 batches of soup, 3 huge batches of soup. I got most of it frozen up in my freezer, and I steamed some cabbage here and there just to eat. There's something a little bit funny there. Anytime, just any little thing that looks funny, I just leave it out. Anything, just keep a real sharp eye out. Plus, I made 4 of these jars so far. I've been eating on 1 jar for probably over a month now. When I buy sauerkraut, I make sure I buy the sauerkraut in the store. If you want anything, the closest you can get to homemade sauerkraut in the grocery store is, it'll be in the refrigerated section, and it'll say something like cultured, or you gotta look for words like that where it has the microbes in it. And I buy it when I run out of my own homemade, usually in the spring or whatnot, when I run out of the stuff I made in last fall. I have to buy it, and it's kind of expensive, but you have to realize if you're paying a little bit more for something that's going to keep you from getting sick. So what's the value in not getting sick? So that's the way I look at it. When I have to pay a little extra for something in the grocery store compared to the ultra processed stuff. It's kind of sometimes it seems unfair because they like to buy spaghetti sauce that doesn't have any sugar added to it. You have to pay like 4 times the amount for that spaghetti sauce because it didn't have something added to it. You know, maybe we could get something straightened out without legal on Congress or something. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how that would work. But anyway, here, see, you also got to look on the ends of these. That was a little bit. You have to keep an eye out. Something like that one was older, So it sat in the refrigerator. This one I just cut, so you can tell it's not getting. After like, oh, say like a week or something in the refrigerator, this will start to get a little moldy looking. You have to make sure you don't, that you leave that part out. But, yeah, I probably should not talk about the food industry because I'm such a new channel. My my show won't get aired. This video won't get aired because I don't have any clout. I guess we'll see, huh? Man, there's one cord there. No more cord. I'm starting. Hopefully, I get better. I'm still learning how to eye it. How much does it take to make one jar? I know about what it takes to make 2 jars. I did 2 jars twice this year, so I gotta figure about half. I think this here one might do it. That's a big core on this one. Whew. Yeah, good. Look at that. I can work on that now. I like when they're real dense like this. You know, you're getting some really good healthy stuff. Watch, I think there's a little bit of a core there. I'm just kind of milling around it. Alright, that's probably about it there. Waste not, want not. Okay. Yeah, so I was thinking when I was cutting this up that I remember it was like 1,400. I think it was just over 1,400 grams for 2 jars, but I really had to pack it in there to make 2 jars. So I was thinking I might go for it and do this one and try to do. I could do 2 jars, but just maybe not as full as the last 2 jars because I'd like to use it all up. I put that in there and I get 13, but I'm sure there's going to be some waste here too, so probably be 12 or so when I get done. Like I said, it was just over 14 and I really had to pack it in there. I didn't want to make them as packed this time, so I'm going to go ahead and make 2 jars, but just less packed in there. I think it'll work out nice. Alright, so one other thing I do is when I'm done with like a head there, it'll have these scraggly pieces like this. I just take and I kind of fold them all up into maybe the biggest piece. I just kind of fold it all up like this. And cut them up. Makes it a lot easier. I think it does anyway. So I thought it would be around 1,200 grams, and right now I'm on 1,177. So I think so. I think I hit it right on the head there. Have to check it out here. Let's see. Okay, 1,178. Look at that, 1,200. Lucky guess. But yeah, that'll probably make 2 jars. Because I really had to pack them in. And I'm also thinking, I wasn't sure how long it takes to, you have to put the salt, I'll show you anyway. So here you take this and you divide it by, take your weight, divide it by 0.02, that's 2%. But I've looked into it and it ranges from 2 to 2.5. What I've been doing is I figure out 2 and then I just add a little something to it. So I've done this enough times to know that that's 12 grams. You know, 1%, 0.1% would be 0.01 would be 12 grams. So 24 grams. So I just make it like between 25 and 30 grams of salt will get you safely over the 2%. The 2% number there that you're looking for. Another thing I want to point out is I looked into the type of salts and all that, and you want to make sure, first of all, that the salt is uniodized salt. That helps with, because you're trying to make it, you know, the natural bacteria to do its thing, to ferment, and the iodized salt can hinder that. Although last year I used iodized salt and didn't have any problems, but we'll see. So here, just find some kind of a light container to put your tier weight. Okay, and then I'm looking for between 25. And then this salt here, I did some research. It's probably one of the best salts for minerals. That it has very healthy minerals. So I'm looking for between 25 and 30. Somewhere between 25 and 30 grams. Bam. There we go. 28. Sounds pretty sweet. Pretty good to me. I'm gonna just spread it out fairly evenly. Okay, now this is the part that takes forever. So, you know, if you want to watch the process, here, so first I take a little bit of time and mix up the salt in, get the salt mixed around there. And then we'll get the salt mixed around good, like that. And then we just start really just squeezing. So make sure your hands are clean. I just cleaned my hands. So this takes, I think, over 5 minutes. So the video's on looking on there. 18, I think it says 18-minute mark. So maybe if you don't want to watch this part, just skip forward. If you want to see how the process is eventually, so you just take it and really squeeze it. And you're just making the salt kind of do its thing. The salt is helping to break down, or whatever you want, whatever you want to call it. This is how you do it if you're doing it the way this. You know, I'm doing like small scale sauerkraut here. I know people do large scale sauerkraut. It's totally different, and I get that. You can't just do this for a large scale thing, but if you're just someone who wants to make a little bit of homemade sauerkraut, this is a very good way of doing it. I know when I was a kid, my dad used to make sauerkraut, and I barely remember it, but we used like 5 gallon, 5 gallon jugs, or 5 gallon buckets, and like, I kind of really remember, I was really young, but there was 5 gallon buckets involved, and I remember the salt, and probably shouldn't even talk about it since I don't really remember the whole thing. I had to relearn this. Kind of came up with my own little system here. Worked really good last year. I'm really cautious when it comes to stuff, because I wouldn't want to. Last thing I wanted to do is like hurt myself with some kind of bacteria or something. So I did a lot of research on this, and I'm convinced that it's safe. First thing I did when it came to ferments was the garlic and honey. So with garlic and honey, those two things, each one of those things are like antibacterial and anti-infectious things. So I figured, well, that's got to be safe, mixing them two. So I felt safe about that. So when I'm squeezing it now, I'm really starting to feel the moisture. It's been, let's see, it's been 3 minutes, over 3 minutes. When I grab a bunch of this and I squeeze it now, I'm literally feeling the juices. You can maybe even see it there. See that? Yeah, you can see it. I'm gonna do it again. It's hard to see. Yeah, there it goes. You can see it. Anyway, getting there. But I want to try to do a little extra. Since the jars are not going to be as packed full this time, I think it would be just fine if I had extra juices this time. Like, there'll be room for it in the jars. It won't be a waste. If there's extra brine when the jars, you don't want to go right to the top of the jars, because it will kind of expand when it's fermenting. So you want to leave a little bit of space, like about a ½ inch or so from the top of the jar. That way you don't worry about the, coming home one day and having like one of your jars overflowed and made a mess. So if I have extra brine, I was thinking this morning when I was I made a small video, I made like a 6-minute video on when I transferred from the little jars to a bigger jar, so I'd have room in my refrigerator. Not sure which one I'm going to be posting first, so. Let's see, yes, I'm really getting a lot of juices now. Yeah, so you can stop anytime now. Let's see, I'm like good 6 minutes probably doing this, and I'm just kind of blabbing away because how am I going to hit the pause button with my hands like this? Okay, so here we go. It is. So we're just showing you how the sausage is made here. Look at that mess. Holy cow. Anyway, so get this. I should have opened that jar first, but everything's been cleaned here, cleaned thoroughly, so it should be fine. Let's see, get another jar now since I'm gonna do 2 jars. 2 jars. Alright, so here we go. Just try to. I'm sure this will fit because last time I did it with just over 1,400 grams and this was just over 1,200, so it should be. But I really had to cram it big time, so I already said that. So, but anyway, can't hit pause now, so I'm just talking. Here's. You can see the juices in the bottom there. But yeah, I'm not sure if I said it yet, but the extra juices, if there's extra juices, I don't want it to overflow. If there's extra juices, I'll put it in the old jar that I was making this morning there. That's what I was getting around to. Okay, so let me should. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm actually having to stuff it in, even though I did way less. That's how much I had to stuff it last time. But you can see when I do this, it makes it doesn't look like the juices or the brine is going to be to the top, but then when you push down into it, and boom, right there, and the brine's right to the top. So that's how that works. I could show you here. See, there's no, if you can see it, yeah. You can't even see the brine in there. But when I push down on that, it's almost like magic. Maybe the second one probably had more was probably more juicy stuff. That's why I worked that way. It doesn't seem to be working as good on this one. The first one was like the stuff on top, and then this. There it goes. Yep, it's working. Didn't make a liar out of me. See the juices coming to the top. All right, so and, I'm thinking. I don't know if I'm gonna have any extra brine or not. Maybe. I got enough to pour. And said, you don't want to go. You don't want to pack it too high. There's plenty of room there. Oh yeah. I'm not gonna have extra brine for the other jar I have in the refrigerator, but it's fine. I figured out how to make that work this morning. If you see my other video, it's either gonna be next one or one I already did. Usually I do them in the chronological order. Yeah, chronological? Did I say that right? Yeah, so, okay. Yeah. Alright. So that is homemade sauerkraut. See all that? Nice. Two. Now, I've done this a couple times. Now I know how much to make it weigh from what jar, like first couple times, like, oh, yeah, it's gonna be a jar. Now I know as I'm going, okay, I think I can get 2 jars out of that. Could probably do even under 1,200 grams to make 2 jars. I really want to do. But that's nice now. Got 2 jars out of it. I thought I only had 1. Bonus. Alright, so I'll show you. I'll show you the rest of this here. So here, put this, get this, show you what's going on here. It's better. So here you see how that works. Kind of pushing it down, keeping it below the surface there. To me, that makes me feel better about it being safer, having that, having all the sauerkraut to be below the level of the brine. Just, I'm cautious that way. Kind of hard to, I need 3 hands too. Alright, there's that. And another. So you're gonna catch it on camera going down. Now over time that'll push down even more, you know. There it is. It's getting to be a long video, but you know. That's how it's done there. And then I put tape, piece of tape on here with the date. Okay, so I like to just write them. Oops. I like to just write them out on there and then stick them on. It's easier than trying to write on them, I think, anyway. So that's the jar I did earlier this morning on a different video where I took 3 of these finished ones and put them in here. And you can see the color difference. I don't know if you can you see? I'll try to get the light. Yeah, you can see it better in the light. This is finished. It's today's days. So now I did the first 2 jars was the 825, and then the jar on top was the older one. I figured, well, let me put the older one on top. That way it gets used up first. And so that's it. So if you learned anything here, like and subscribe, help out my little channel here. And God bless. See you in the next video.